But for purposes of the pilot period, the administrative rules will be what is described as guiding principles?
Correct.
So is the council, does the ordinance waive the usual administrative rule process?
The ordinance itself?
Yes.
The ordinance applies to the code changes for taxi cab companies. The resolution, it doesn't waive any kind of normal administrative rule process. That process is already set out in terms of an interim administrative rule in the code under 1645-20J. We're simply applying that rulemaking authority that the director already has in an interim capacity.
So technically, just procedurally here, the resolution adopts the rules and the ordinance makes changes to the code.
Correct.
Okay.
Resolution directs that the rules be adopted.
Correct. It doesn't adopt any rules. It directs the director to promulgate rules.
And the ordinance makes changes to the code.
Right.
What is the effect if the council adopts the resolution but not the ordinance tonight? What is the effect of the legal landscape?
The resolution, the director would then be directed to promulgate rules under the guiding principles in the resolution. And I'm sorry, the second part of your question was, and does not adopt the ordinance?
The ordinance, as I read it, is an emergency ordinance.
The code remains unamended, non-amended. Chapter 1640 stays as it is.
And Mr. Riggett, wouldn't that have the effect of continuing the fair regulation on the taxi cab companies?
It would have the effect of continuing the fair regulation and all other regulations that are currently on taxi cab companies.
So if it wants to do them both together but not as an emergency, we would delay acting on the resolution for 30 days.
That's, is that a legal question? Or a statement? Yes,
That's an option.
that's an option.
And then the legal question that'll come up, if that comes up, is under 16.40.520, it has to be a finding that a failure to act promptly will result in prejudice to the public interest or the interest of the affected parties. So what would be that prejudice to the public interest?
It's critical that the city regulate all private for hire transportation operators. So without that ability to regulate the regulators who are providing nearly the same service and without having the rules that apply similarly across the board, the city would be disadvantaged in that way.
Frankly, I'm sorry. Frankly, Commissioner, we have not Lyft, but we have operators, TNCs operating in the city right now. They are dropping off passengers every day. So there are unregulated TNC drivers in the city right now, and I guess that would be a potential prejudice to the public.
The fact that they're currently
They're
operating
currently unregulated, and we'd like to get them under a regulatory scheme.
But let's take the Uber and Lyft. They have testified in a prior proceeding that they will not operate in Portland until we pass authorizing legislation, correct?
That's what they testified to, yes. Yes,
That's what they told the council.
Correct.
They will not operate until we give them green light. Who are the other companies that are operating illegally?
Here in the city of Portland.
I'm sure there are. I mean, we've heard testimony of outside taxi cab companies dropping off in the city of Portland. So I mean, I can't speak to all the enforcement, but I'm sure there could be.
Other questions at this point for these three resource folks? So let me